have Dr. Howard Lubert, who is the managing partner of SafeHatch, and I hope he'll tell us a little bit about that. He's also the president of the Keiretsu Forum Mid-Atlantic, and the Keiretsu Forum is the world's largest group of angel investors. And you'll hear more about that, I'm sure, too. He's here to tell you about how you can get funding and how to fund the startup of your business. So with that, please join me in welcoming our guest.
Thank you, Monica. All right, so I guess at 10:30 you're all going to bolt like it's lunchtime, so I will attempt to get through the 277 slides in this deck as quickly as I possibly can. Start real quick though. I guess what I'd really like to know, yes, I am the guy who was the entrepreneur in residence last year. Yes, I am the guy who has taught in entrepreneurship programs for many, many years. I am what they refer to as a serial entrepreneur. I've invested in about 30 startup companies since I had enough money to start doing that. I think my wife would tell you that we don't have enough money to do that anymore. And my wife, by the way, is an MBA CPA from Drexel, so she probably knows best, but I continue to ignore her. And I'm here because I met Dr. Zimmerman at Temple when I started teaching there. I was the entrepreneur residence there for a couple of years. I got involved in teaching there. I've had a background of teaching for many, many years. I actually, from the industrial side of the world, I helped a company that many of you have probably never even heard of called Novell create what was called the Certified Novell Engineer Program that enabled companies, small companies typically, to be able to install and maintain networks for their small and medium-sized businesses. And I actually helped them develop the curriculum and actually wrote much of that curriculum and helped them develop the very first certification program in the networking industry so that they could, frankly, meet the demand of the companies that wanted to install their software. Novell is a mere shadow of themselves anymore today. No one's ever heard of them. So if I told you I resigned from IBM to start selling a computer called an Apple II, I doubt there's anyone in this room who has ever even seen an Apple II or even knew what unless you saw a picture of it online. That's the problem with the internet. History is all there for you to find. So the Apple II was the computer that actually defined, it was not the first, but it was the first computer that actually defined and made capable the ability for business people to take a microcomputer and start doing something productive with it. And it changed everything we know about technology today. So, before I kick off, we're going to spend a lot of time looking and talking about numbers from a lot of different places, numbers all about how to fund businesses. And I'm going to come at funding businesses from two sides, because there's two kinds of businesses. There's what we refer to very commonly in the industry as a lifestyle business. I remember the last year I taught at Temple, had a young woman in the capstone MBA class who, upon completing college, or completing her MBA, she was going to approach SEPTA about putting coffee carts in some of the stations along some of the lines where people needed to go stand to get on a train to get into town. And I said, well, how many are you going to start with? And she said, one. And how many are you going to end up with? She said, well, it could be hundreds. And today, she has a very, very successful and profitable business. And every one of those carts gets set up at 5:30 in the morning. And every one of those carts gets shut down about 10 o'clock in the morning. And she's employing a substantial number of part-time people. She's hit on a great niche. She has identified women who, because of children, needed the ability to be home with kids, but could arrange with spouses to cover this short 3 or 4 hour period every day, 5 days a week, to run these days. It's a lifestyle business. Now, it's a lifestyle business that's grown to generate a lot of revenue. So that's one kind of business we're going to look at numbers for. The other kind of business, we're going to look at the numbers that from the businesses I see every day. Okay? And then we'll spend 15 seconds talking about the kinds of businesses you guys have dreams about. Because perhaps perhaps in this room, the next Mark Zuckerberg really is here. No disrespect to Westchester or any of you in the room, but by way of challenge, I doubt it very much. But we'll leave it at that. So, real quick, is there any one thing or two things you'd like to get out of this today that you'd like me to kind of steer this directionally? Don't all speak at once. No? You don't care? Nobody cares. Why are you here? You had a free hour and it's raining out, so it was better to sit here than down in the Starbucks? Somebody. No? Okay. Jesus. This could be the toughest gig I do all week. Can anybody answer that question? All right. Can I see a show of hands of anyone who's ever heard the word bootstrapping before? Oh dear. Okay. Bootstrapping. Pulling oneself up by his bootstraps. How many of you have a business already? Anybody? Well, you have a great business. I don't know about you. What kind of business do you have?
It's an auto mechanic shop.
Excuse me?
Auto mechanic shop?
What do you do in that business?
My husband. The family business.
Okay. And tell me about the business.
Fixes cars.
What do you do in the
Sells
business?
cars. I just help out, like in the front desk.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? No, huh? All right. So, the stages of business creation or startup creation is one day somebody wakes up with an idea. Actually, rarely does somebody wake up with an idea. Most people steal ideas. Plagiarism is the sincerest form of flattery. You see something and it kicks off a neuron, and the neuron says, if it were just like this, maybe this could be something special. Okay? Another young woman I met when I taught at Temple decided she wanted to be in the cupcake business. Now it's been many years since I've been at Temple. We all take cupcake shops for granted now. Any of you ever been on the Amtrak to DC? Okay, one person. When you get off the Amtrak in DC and head up into the Union Station to move out, there's a stretch of stores. There's a Starbucks, which you would expect. There's a restaurant you'd expect. There's one bakery, and there's about 8 cupcake specialty shops. When this young lady decided she was going to get into the cupcake business, there were no cupcake shops. And I looked at her and I said, so let me see if I understand. You're going to open up a bakery? She said, no, I'm going to open up a cupcake bakery. And so all you're going to sell is cupcakes. She said, that's all I'm going to sell? And I said, why? And she said, because people will buy them. There is no quip to respond to that. And I said, well, the one quip that I thought I had was, and you believe that there are enough people who will flock to your door just to buy cupcakes. How many of you watch Two Broke Girls on TV? Just the two of us and my wife. You're missing a great comedy, but it's about 2 girls who by day work at women who work as waitresses in a Brooklyn diner-type facility, and by night open up the door at the back and sell cupcakes out into the street. And it just so happens that one of the 2 is a fabulous baker, and there's great demand for her cupcakes. And so this young lady thought of that idea way, way back, and I think she's doing it today. So the first stage, once you come up with an idea, you would think that you've bounced that idea off enough people that they say, hey, this is a great idea, okay, let's see if we can't do something with this. So the first thing you do is bootstrap. How do you do that? Well, you probably reach in your pocket and pull out your credit card, you figured out what you need to get started, and you probably invest a few $100 in getting something going. If you're really good at bootstrapping, then you will have identified your potential first customer / client / guinea pig, and he or she or they may write a small check to help you get going. That's bootstrapping.